Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today is an Aston Martin day. We're going to be looking at a few little problems and hopefully one solution. Yes, it's an Aston Martin DB9 video. Let's go.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away, but I've known you too long.
Okay, now, when it comes to the DB9, I've had a few little electrical gremlins with this car, and I kind of knew about it when I bought it. I kind of made the assumption that these were standalone issues. For example, the window was playing up a little bit, and I thought I'm going to have to get myself a new door module to fix that. So I almost sourced one for this car. But then a couple of other things have sprung up at the same time. The door mirrors on this car. These door mirrors, they are not automatic. It's from 2006 and they just weren't. They just didn't make them automatic. So you want to fold them open or close them, you have to push the buttons to do it. Now, in this car, something funny happens. They do it automatically and they shouldn't. At the very same time, I've also had some low battery warnings inside the car. I have also had some very odd idling issues where the car appears to want to stall. It's as though it's not got enough juice to want to keep going. And when I check the battery in this car, the battery is shot. Now, talking to a lot of other owners for Aston Martin DB9s, it does look like these cars are very bad on battery. So it looks like all of my issues may just very well be the battery. In measuring the battery, I was only getting 12.1 volts on this thing. It wasn't good. So we've gone and got ourselves another battery and we're going to plug it in and see if it resolves some of our issues. Some of the little weird electrical gremlins are going on with this car. From what I've read and from what everyone has told me, that's going to be the case. But fingers crossed, that works. Right now, I'm going to look at changing the battery over. It is at the moment on a trickle charger. One of the problems I've noticed is the battery goes down really fast, and I don't think it's parasitic drain. I think the battery is actually damaged. So the battery in this car is likely damaged. It's not holding charge. It's causing all sorts of voltage problems, and these cars are notoriously bad for suffering issues when it comes to battery voltage. If it's not spot on, then they fail, and these are big batteries. These don't need lower voltages, they need slightly higher voltages. So a typical healthy battery on this should be 12.8 volts, as opposed to many of the smaller cars where you see it down to sort of 12.4, 12.5. These need a lot more, and this battery is nowhere near that. And it's going to cause me all sorts of problems. You see, the next problem is I've got to change it. Now, you might think that changing a battery on an Aston, well, just change it. Just go under the bonnet, find the battery, and change it. Well, if you haven't noticed, have a look under here. There's no battery there because the battery is not under here. So now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, just go into the boot and change it in the boot. But guess what? The battery's not in the boot. So it's not under the bonnet or the hood. It's not in the boot. So where is the battery? Well, it's actually down here. In the UK, it's on the driver's side, to the right side of the car, and it's under the seat. I've got to go in and pull out all the seating stuff, and they don't make it easy. As you're going to see when I go through this, you've got to pull out so much stuff just to get to the battery, and there's a whole lot of misleading information on exactly how to do it. So I've watched a ton of videos on it now. I've got a good idea. I'm going to go through and change the battery, and there's another problem that they don't mention. You see, the batteries in these cars, they are heavy. I mean heavy. The battery for this car is about 30 kilograms. It is not easy to haul in and out. And at this very same time, it's not somewhere simple like under the bonnet. It's buried down under the back here. So what I've got to do is actually get in the car. Now, watch this. As I open the door, the window itself actually goes down. Now, it's actually a pretty cool feature. I do like that. But it's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to do that. The window should stay up or only drop just a few centimeters, and that's not what's happened here. In here, down at the back, behind in there, I've got to get in and actually pull it all out and put the battery in there. There's another complication, you see. There's a whole process and procedure to doing this. Now, I don't know what Aston was thinking when they actually designed this car, but one thing that they did kind of screw up on was that they didn't leave any permanent memory for many of the settings. So when you disconnect the battery, you lose a ton of temporary memory. And the temporary memory stores some very critical stuff. So the voltage screwing up will screw up the memory for the windows and for the seats and a whole ton of other things. And in particular, it loses the sensor network for misfire calibration. Yes, the misfire software itself isn't perpetual. It only runs when the battery is connected. If you disconnect the battery, it's lost. So to get it back again, you've got to redo it. So to get it back again, you have to reteach the engine how to learn its misfire configuration setup. Unfortunately, not easy. It's not easy at all. You can't plug a scanner into it. You can't plug anything into it that will just sort of put it all back together. No, the car has to literally learn it. It has to be taught it. And there's only one way to do that, and that is in a special driving sequence. Yes, to get the code back and the misfire calibration sensor network working again after a battery change, you have to drive it in a very specific way. Okay, let's get on with it. It's time to actually change the battery in this thing. So I'll see you in a minute when I get changed and we're gonna get ready and get all this set up. And then at some point, we're gonna have to do that drive configuration and we'll cut over to that. So let's get on with it and change the battery in an Aston Martin DB9. Let's go. Just like that, I've now got my work clothes on and we're gonna try and change the battery in this car. Well, it's also not that straightforward. Aston put a tracker on this car. Aston themselves put backup security systems on this car. And if you disconnect that battery without disarming all of those systems, this car will go mental at you because it's got backup systems to detect if the battery has been disconnected and the whole thing goes to hell. Now, I've added another tracker onto that, on top of that, and another alarm system. So this thing will go ballistic if I don't shut down the security systems first. And no, I'm not going to show you how I do that on this car. Once I've actually changed the battery in this car, I've got to then drive it to get the misfire calibration settings all back again. Now, you might think, well, what's the big deal? Just drive it. No, you can't just drive it. And that procedure is quite frustrating. What I have to actually do is take this car out onto a road where I can get up to 70 miles per hour and then back off to 30 and then repeat at least 3 times. And to be safe, they often say do it 5 times. So that means I can't brake during the process. I've got to take this car out onto the road, accelerate to 70, hold it for a couple of seconds, come back to 30 and repeat. Now, it's a pretty big speed differential. So you can't just do it in ordinary traffic. If I tried to do that today, I'd never get the opportunity. The traffic just won't permit it. And it's technically a bit of a funny process. It's not illegal. It's not something I'm comfortable doing in heavy traffic. So you got to wait until you can get onto a road with no traffic where you can do this. And here in the UK, that's not easy. I've got to use a motorway network essentially to do it. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be in the dead of night because I just can't do it during the day due to all the traffic. And the other problem with doing that is not just finding the roads, but finding a road which hasn't been gritted here in the winter. And right now it is raining and we got snow and ice forecast for the next couple of days. So what it means is I can't actually do the calibration run in this car unless I'm quite happy to tear through motorways which have been freshly salted, and I'm not going to do that. So I've got to actually wait. I can't just change the battery and go for a run. I've got to change the battery, wait for the right night where it's not gridded and the grid has been washed away, and then do this process. So you're going to see me at some point at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. driving this car up and down a motorway, going fast and slow and fast and slow. And yes, that is the official procedure on how to do it so that this car relearns all its settings and you don't get any hissy fits from the systems. Yeah, wish me luck. I'm going to get everything prepared. We're going to get everything undone. The car will be ready to accept the new battery, but we're going to wait for the weather out here to actually clear up make sure we've got a free day, make sure we're doing it so that we've actually got a free run on the motorway. I don't want to set this up and then find myself getting onto a clogged motorway. So, and I should also mention, Aston also put a mileage limit on how fast you need to do this. So, for example, you change the battery in this car and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'll do calibration a little later on. I don't need it right now. We'll drive around, go to a show here or there. We'll do the mileage calibration another time. Well, Aston Martin say no. You can't do that. You've got 10 miles before the car figures out it doesn't have it and then starts going ballistic at you saying, hey, you're missing this. This isn't there. That's not there. What's going on? And you'll have all sorts of warning lights on your dash. So you need to do this within 10 miles of changing the battery, which means we're waiting for this weather to clean up. We're waiting for the motorway to clean up. And obviously we're waiting to make sure that the car doesn't run out of charge. So, and of course, we're just waiting for my time to be free to be able to do all this as well. So as you can see, the planets have to align to do a battery change in this car. So the new battery we've got, it's ready to go. I'm going to talk about that in a minute because it's a very interesting problem. And I can see why Aston owners get charged a fortune to change the battery on a DB9 at a dealer. It doesn't need to be. It's about 150 pounds for me to change this battery. That's not too bad. That's pretty consistent with almost any other car. In fact, it's about the same as the Supra or the Mercedes. So it's not a bad problem. But if you went to Aston Martin, you could be up for £1,000 to change this. You go to an independent, it's going to be a lot better. But even still, there's a lot of messing around to change the battery in this car. And then there's the design of how they fitted the battery in, which you're going to see once we get into changing it. For now, yeah, wish me luck again. Let's get into changing the battery on this car. Let's go. The first thing we've got to do right now is get the seat out of the way. So the driver's seat is an all-electric one. For some reason, whoever bought this car didn't spec it with memory seats, which baffles me. I don't understand why you would not fit them. It's actually got some pretty cool other features that they did spec, but when it came to memory seats, they just decided not to bother with it. I don't really know why you would spend £200,000 on a car in 2006 and decide, no, I won't spec everything, but that's what they did. So this car does not have, unfortunately, memory seats. So actually makes it a little bit easier in this car because I don't have to recalibrate everything. Now, down here is where our battery is. It's buried under this thing. And we've actually got to take out the carpet here and we've got to take out the leather here. And that's just to get access to the top panels, which then also have to be taken out. There's quite a few bits and pieces that have got to come out of this car, so let's do it. This, fortunately, is easy. This is simply Velcro strapped down. As you can see, there's a straight up panel there that needs to come off. And yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to put these things on and off because they really just don't like it. And there's another piece here. This one also clips off. It does just clip on and off. It's a sort of Velcro clip again. It's a little different to the one on that, but another high quality leather piece. This needs to come off. There's quite a bit, and then there's more underneath. Aston really decided to not make it easy to change a battery on a car like this. Okay, in true semi-exotic style, this is not exactly the same as what I've seen in other Astons. There's a difference here. This plate is not independent. It's actually connected all around. So in other Aston Martins, I've seen them be able to fold this away due to a locking mechanism with it. I can't do that with this car. So at this point, all the other videos I've seen on this are kind of wrong. And I now need to work my way through and just try and figure out what the hell is going on to get this battery out. So let's carry on with it. Okay. We're really getting somewhere now. We've found a problem with the battery, and it's both positive and negative, and yes, all puns intended. The problem with the battery is it's 5 years old. This battery is old. It's undersized. This battery is supposed to be bigger for this car. Whoever chose the battery for this car, you picked the wrong one in pretty much every damn way. And here's the funny thing, the battery that's in it, when you look up pricing on it, it's about the same as the correct battery from Aston Martin. So you spent the same money to buy the wrong battery and put it in the car. No wonder nothing was working. Now, I may be ahead of myself on that. We may change this battery over and everything else is still the same. We may still have all our Gremlins, but you know, at 12 volts right now, which is way below where it needs to be, this battery is dead. It's the wrong type, it's too old, and it doesn't carry enough charge. So yeah, no wonder this car hasn't been performing well for 5 years, and people perhaps didn't want to buy it because of all these little quirks. But we've found it now. We're about to change the battery in this car. I am just holding off for a bit because I've got the battery inside on charge. I just want to get it to absolute max. The CTEK's on it right now. We'll get it to max charge before we put it in this car, but we're sorted out. Everything's on it, ready to go now. We're just waiting for the full charge. We'll pop it on the car and then see how we go. Now, tonight's looking good, despite the fact that it is absolutely pouring with rain out there. At 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's not supposed to be. We've had 2 days of warm weather now, so there's no gritting. The water has washed all of that away, and we'll be able to take this car out today, well, tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m. on the motorway, get the calibration done, and hopefully, fingers crossed, get it all sorted. Once that's sorted, then we can make a real start, probably on the wrapping for this before we get to the Supra, because it's just too important. But yeah, for now, yeah, let's go. Okay, we found yet another problem with this thing. Whoever changed this battery, because this is not the original one, whoever put this in here, they've disconnected the vent hose. There's actually a ventilation hose that's supposed to come off the side of this, and they were really important in these older batteries that you had those vent tubes come off and actually duct down through the bottom of the car. It's missing, it's not there, and I'm going to have to go and buy one now. In the meantime, I can still put the battery on. I'm going to use a makeshift tube because they are essential, but with an AGM battery, it's a little less essential. You shouldn't have a problem with it. In theory, the AGM battery will be self-contained, but I'm still going to have to order one. So yes, I'm now going to buy more parts for this battery, but there's another catch. The parts are cheap. They cost nothing. It's less than £5, but the shipping to get them is £20. I'm going to spend £20 to get a £5 part. It's ridiculous. I may have to do it. I'm going to try and put something in that's makeshift, but for now, we're going to grab the other battery. It's fully charged. We're going to whack it in and see what all kind of hell breaks loose. I'm trying to be enthusiastic here, but it's 4:30 in the morning and I'm about to take this car out for a calibration. I need to be a bit quiet because, well, yeah, this is going to be fun. Time to fire this thing up and let's see how we go. Let's get a cold start going. Let's get the DB9 out. Let's get this thing calibrated. Let's go. And just like that, the car should now effectively be calibrated. Our sensor network for detecting misfires is back. So our misfire calibration has been completed pretty much exactly as Aston Martin wanted us to do it. So we've done that. And the bigger question is, did it solve any of our problems? Yes, it did. Let me explain. The door mirrors are now no longer doing the things on their own. They are actively working exactly the way they're supposed to. They fold in, fold out at the press of a button, and they're no longer just doing their own thing. The passenger window is also dropping the way it's supposed to. When you actually open this door, it drops fractionally, and then when you push it in, it goes up again. So that's another problem sorted. I'm no longer getting any warning lights on the dash either, so the dash is now saying your battery's good. And on top of that, the car cranks fantastic now. These puddle lights, yeah, they're no longer flickering. They're just on and strong now. So that's another problem sorted. The driver's side door, well, it's pretty much sorted itself out as well, but it remains the only thing that hasn't 100% restored from the battery change. Now, what happens with this door is you simply open it as normal and the window no longer drops of its own accord. This before was just going completely down and all the way up. It was just doing its own thing. It no longer does that. And when you are in the car and you're getting in and out, it does drop it. The only catch is it's not raising it. However, it is still sealing it. So I'm not sure if that's a feature or something strange going on there, but this is actually completely watertight at all times now. So I don't need to worry about water ingress. It has dropped it, it's a tiny little amount, it just hasn't pushed it all the way back up. Frankly, it's pointless and not of concern at this point because, well, it's working. The door and window are working 100% effectively for what I need. I just need to sort out why it's not coming back up just that extra 2 or 3 millimeters that it should, because it's just not. Driving this thing at 4:30 in the morning was actually one of the most enjoyable drives I've done in a very long time. It was so good. I think I'm going to have to do it again. Yes, it sucked getting up that early, but the freedom of just literally nobody on the roads at the crack of dawn is absolutely amazing in this car when you can punch it. Now, I had to be very cautious. I couldn't drive like an idiot with a fresh battery and doing a calibration. So I was very cautious in my driving, not to mention it was also relatively cold and wet, but we got it done. We managed to get 5 good runs of calibration in. They went one after another. I barely had any interruptions. I had 1, maybe 2 cars that were coming up quickly behind me at 30 and I needed to put the hazards on, but otherwise it worked really well. And we got this car fully calibrated now. So that means this car is now back and ready for full use. I'm not worried about any of the problems. Everything on this thing just works fantastically now. And it brings us to the next question of, well, what happens next with this car? And the answer is buried in the back there. We now need to start thinking about wrapping the Aston. So the wrap is literally there. We have the side skirts, whatever you want to call them, because Aston's got some funny names for this stuff, but we have the side skirts, we have the front splitter, and we have all the wrap to go on this car. The weather's begun warming up. We've got a fairly mild morning here. It's actually 10 degrees. And on top of that, we've even had a little bit of patchy sun. So it is now time to start thinking about getting on with this car and getting it ready the way we want, because the plan for this car is nuts. It's going to take me at least a full week to do it. So that's where we're going with this car from here. So the next video, well, it's a little bit up for debate is exactly what you're going to see, because it could be me wrapping this car. It could be me doing a little bit more to this car. It could be us pulling the Supra out the back and actually doing some work on the Supra, or it could be working on the garage. We've got an endless amount of tasks to do. It comes into my time and what's available, but at this point, this is probably going to get priority. It's probably going to be this that we start on next. So yeah, hopefully I can get it done in a week, or it's going to be a split video showing half and half how we completed some of it, and then the next week, the rest of it. Fingers crossed, we'll get this done. There'll be no hiccups with it, but knowing my luck, there are always hiccups. So we'll see how we go. Now we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed any parts of this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And definitely let me know your thoughts on what you would like to see with this. I can't promise it's going to happen, but I'm interested to know if you guys would touch this, because the general consensus is nobody wants me to do this, and that makes me want to do it even more. So thank you again so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. I might even take this thing for a little drive. For now, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Simon out.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the